चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So welcome all of you all for our Harinam Chintamani class. So today, sorry for being late, and we might also have to end the session early at 8:15. I have to do a Facebook live session for Margaon devotees. So it just came up last minute. I couldn't say no to that. So we'll try to cover as much as we can cover today. So last week, Ram Bhadra Priya Prabhu had started the second chapter. He did quite a lot of verses, but I felt uh, I should just restart the whole thing, as a recap basically. So we'll start from verse 1 only, but I will not get into too much explanations because he's already done it last week. But we will start from the beginning. So chapter 2 is called Chanting the Holy Name. Nama Grahana Vichar. Gadai Gauranga Jaya Janav Jivan Sita Dvaita Jaya Shrivasadi Bhaktagan. Glory to Lord Chaitanya, to Lord Gadadhar, and to Lord Nityananda, the life of Janava Devi. Glory to Advaita, the husband of Sita. Glory to Shrivas and all the devotees of the Lord. So generally, this is the way in which every chapter or way in which every book begins. It begins with Mangalacharan, offering respects to all the great acharyas of the past. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing, all glory to Lord Chaitanya, all glory to Gadadhar Pandit, and glory to Nityananda, the life of Janava Devi. So actually, it's very important for devotees to understand the parampara in which we are connected to. So that's why probably after the Harinam Chintamani session, we can actually get into Chaitanya Charitamrit and try to understand more about these personalities. Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, the wife of Advaita Acharya, Sita Thakurani, the wife of Nityananda Prabhu, Janava Devi, like that. So understanding our parampara is something that's very important, not in a proud way, but so that we can actually feel genuinely connected to the parampara. Just like some time back, Revatipati Prabhu from Pune had come here. So he was making very nice point. He was explaining that how generally when a girl gets married with a husband, with the boy, so the girl slowly starts to connect to the entire family of the boy. First, she only knows the boy, then she gets used to the parents of the boy, and slowly she gets used to all the family members so intimately that she forgets her previous family. She feels that this is my family. So similarly, we are all living in this material world, so-called material family, but it's also important for us that we make a shift to our spiritual family. And how do we make that shift? when we actually understand what our family is, what that spiritual family is. And just like this girl gets to know everyone in that family. So similarly, it's important for us to understand who the parampara, what our parampara is, what the acharyas are. So in that mode, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is offering obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Nityanand Prabhu, Srivas, and all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Sita Advaita Jaya Srivas Adi Bhaktagan. So he's saying, let glory is to not only the Panchatattva, but glory is to all the devotees of the Lord. Mahapreme Haridas Karena Rodan, Prema Tare Gaura Chandra Dila Alingan. Haridas Thakur wept with great love. With love, Lord Chaitanya embraced him. So, Haridas Thakur was weeping with love. So, I was explaining in the Gita class yesterday that when Radhanath Swami Maharaj had taken the group of brahmacharis to Benapol in Bangladesh, this was a couple of years ago. So, Benapol is the place where Haridas Thakur actually converted this prostitute into a Vaishnava. That is the place Haridas Thakur chanted for many, many years together. So Maharaj was explaining in that place that how if anyone wants to develop love for Krishna, especially for the holy name, Name Ruchi, so then one has to be very sincere. One has to earn for that mercy. One has to beg for that mercy. One has to be really desperate. Only then they get it. Similarly, Haridas Thakur, his heart is filled with so much love and he's weeping in great love. So tears, the sign of genuine love is when there are tears in your eyes, just like our acharyas in their song they pray that when will that time come? Kabe habe bolo se din amar. When will that time come when I actually chant the holy names and tears come from my eyes? So Haridas Thakur is weeping in love. His heart is so soft and malleable. And with great love, Lord Chaitanya also embraces. So this is, when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita also, we will see that how the love that devotees share amongst each other, the kind of reciprocation that Lord has with the devotees have with the Lord, and how the kind of love devotees have with each other. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is the relationship Advaita Acharya had with Nityananda Prabhu. They would keep pulling each other's leg, but all out of love. Haridas Thakur, the relationship he had with Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur's relationship with Nityananda Prabhu. So when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's all about Vaishnava relationship, having that relationship very prominently in place. So this is, in fact, when Pratap Rudra Maharaj, the king of Orissa, when the first time he sees devotees of Navdeep headed by Advaita Acharya who come to Jagannath Puri, and from his terrace, from the palace, he's watching the Sankirtan, he's shocked, because pleasantly shocked, because he has seen many Sankirtan before. Because in Jagannath Puri, Sankirtans keep going on. But he considered this Sankirtan to be very special because he thought this is Prem Sankirtan. There is great love that is there between the devotees. So in that way, Haridas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya are embracing each other. Balena tomara sama bhakta kota ar sarva tattva gyata tumi sada maya par. So Lord Chaitanya is genuinely glorifying Haridas Thakur. It's just not flattery words. Genuinely, he's saying, Balena tomara sama bhakta kota ar. Where is another devotee like you, Haridas Thakur? Sarva tattva gyata tumi sada maya par. You know all the truths of spiritual life and you are always beyond the touch of Maya. Sada Maya par. Always beyond the touch of Maya. Yeah. So in that same lecture, Radhanath Maharaj in Benapol with the Brahmacharis, he gave many lectures. In one of the lectures, he explained a very beautiful point. Because Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, people considered him to be an untouchable. So because Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, people consider him to be an untouchable. Because generally, at least in those days, 500 years back, no Hindu would go near a Muslim, was considered an outcast. But Radhanan Maharaj explained that yes, Haridas Thakur was untouchable because he was untouched by Maya. Maya couldn't touch Haridas Thakur at all. Maya Devi herself, personification. I mean, one glimpse of Maya allures us, and we become victim of it. Haridas Thakur, Maya Devi herself, in full prowess, she came to allure Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur was not allured. Why? Param drishtva nivartate. He was experiencing a higher taste. So because Haridas Thakur was constantly chanting the names of Krishna, there was hardly any time for Maya to be there. There was no space for Maya to be there. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya is glorifying and telling Haridas that you are always beyond the touch of Maya. So the next part, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains is the superiority of devotional service, pure devotional service. Ananya bhajanera shreshtata. So last Sunday, Ram Bhadrapira Prabhu was giving a Gita class on the words of the Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam, ye jana paryupasate. Again, how Krishna uses the word Ananya. Ananya chintayanto mam. Yeah, can you all please keep yourself muted?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Ranganathana Prabhu mobiles, that is Prabhu getting voice nice.
Yeah. Ranganathana Prabhu? Yeah, thank you. So, Param Dayalu Prabhu, you can also centrally mute, na? You have the control, na? Param Dayalu Prabhu?
Prabhu, I am muting Prabhu, but keep on there doing Prabhu.
So you keep muting whenever it comes on. Okay. Okay. So he was explaining the word Ananya. Ananya means pure devotional service. Ananya chintayanto mam. So Krishna is saying one who thinks of him with unflinching devotion, pure devotional service. So for such a person, Krishna says, I protect what he has and I provide what he lacks. Therefore, pure devotional service is actually the highest. Ananya bhajanera shrestha. Ananya means, what does Ananya mean? Nothing else. So when we worship Krishna and we have other things also to take care of, not in terms of responsibilities, but in terms of attachment, that is not called Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti means we understand that only Krishna is my shelter. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. So when Krishna says only surrender unto me, that means Krishna is saying don't surrender to anyone else. If you are surrendering to someone else and we are surrendering to Krishna also, that means our surrender to Krishna is not 100%. So here the next section, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains the superiority of pure devotional service. Nicha kule avatari deha kale sakale dekale sakale dhane mane kule shile Krishna nahi mile. So Lord Chaitanya is saying this, descending to this world, you took birth in a lowly family. In this way, you showed everyone that it is not by wealth, honor, noble family, or material virtues that one is able to meet Lord Krishna. So, Lord Chaitanya made Haridas Thakur the Namacharya to show the world that Haridas Thakur didn't have any of these four things. Generally, who is considered to be successful in this world? Who is considered to be successful? One who has so who is considered to be successful? One who has great wealth, dhane. Yeah, one who has mane, honor, or one who has kule, uh, noble family, or shile, material virtues. Such a person is considered to be successful, isn't it? One who is very wealthy, we say, great guy, he's made it through in his life. One who has great honor, respectability, we say that, very successful person. Or one who has a great birth in a Brahmin family, aristocratic family, we feel that very successful. Or if someone has virtues, material virtues, we consider them to be successful. But Haridas Thakur didn't have any of this thing. He was, just imagine the birth of Haridas. He didn't have any wealth, very poor. He was not born in an honorable family, not in a noble family. He didn't have much honor also in that sense, right? But still, Haridas Thakur becomes the Namacharya. Why? Because Lord Chaitanya is specifically choosing Haridas Thakur in this role to tell all of us that these are not the criteria of success. That's why Kunti Maharani says, Janma Aishwarya Shuddha Shribir Edamana Adapuman. She says that these four things are obstacles in the path of bhakti. Janma, great birth. When you feel, I'm born in a great family, I'm a Brahmana. So that's an obstacle. Janma Aishwarya, great wealth is an obstacle. Shruta, that means knowledge, and Shribi, beauty. Anyone who has any of these things, these are actually potential obstacles in the path of bhakti. That is why Haridas Thakur comes in a very humble role. Who is Haridas? Haridas Thakur is actually Lord Brahma himself. But as Lord Brahma, because he offends Lord Krishna due to that post, so Brahmaji prays to the Lord that let me take birth in a very humble family. Let me be in such a position that I don't feel any pride. Because only in this state one can chant the holy name. Trinadapi Sunichena Taroreva Sahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Because only when one is humble, then one can chant. So therefore, Lord Brahma comes as Haridas Thakur because he wants to continuously chant. So in life, we don't get everything together. If we want Krishna, we have to be ready to give up Maya. And if you want Maya, we're not going to get Krishna. No, everything doesn't come together. You can't be like, you can't have everything materially in place. You want wealth, you want honor, you want everything, and at the same time you want Krishna also. It doesn't happen, right? So we have to have a priorities clear. What do we want? Ultimately, what we want is what we are going to get. What we desperately want. So what is our innermost desire? We may definitely in our conditioned state have desires for material enjoyment, but what is the deepest desire that we have? Are we praying to Krishna to fulfill our material desires, or are we praying to Krishna, Krishna, I have material desires, I admit that, but I want to be free from this? What are we praying? Depending on that, our prayers will be answered. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a story when Lord Chaitanya is going in this South Indian tour. He meets this leper. There is one Brahmana who's got leprosy, Vasudev, his name is. So he's such a humble and a devoted Vaishnava to Lord Chaitanya. He was waiting when Lord Chaitanya would meet him. But Lord Chaitanya passed his path, and somehow they just missed meeting each other. But Lord Chaitanya understood that Vasudev was very desperate to meet him. Lord Chaitanya came back to meet Vasudev, and he embraced Vasudev. And Vasudev was a leper. Leprosy, it spreads, it's very contagious. But Lord Chaitanya just embraced him because he was seeing that this is such a pure and a genuine hearted Vaishnava. So as soon as Lord Chaitanya embraced, the leprosy of Vasudev disappeared and his body started to shine like gold. He became extraordinarily beautiful. Vasudev tells Lord Chaitanya, my dear Lord, my previous condition was better. Because in my previous condition, there was no possibility of becoming arrogant and proud. Now in this condition, where my body is so beautiful, people will offer respect to me and I will become proud, and therefore I will not be able to chant your holy names. This is the mood of Vasudev. So in that same mood, Lord Chaitanya is telling, you took birth in a low family to show everyone that wealth, honor, noble family, and material virtues are not the requirement to meet Krishna. So these are not the qualification to meet Krishna. The only qualification to meet Krishna is Ananya Bhakti. That's all. Krishna is not pleased with anything else. We all know the story now. When Krishna comes at Shanti Dut in Hastinapur, Duryodhan arranges a first class menu for Krishna, perfectly cooked, the finest cooks in the finest golden vessels, perfect arrangement, expert management to please Krishna. But Krishna doesn't go there. Why? Because everything is perfect, but bhakti is not there. Krishna decides to go to the house of Vidura when nothing is arranged. But Krishna is happy there because there is Ananya Bhakti. So the only price to buy Krishna, so that Krishna can be bought by us, is Ananya Bhakti. Krishna doesn't need anything else. So therefore, this section here is called Ananya Bhajanera Shrestha, the superiority of pure devotional service. So Haridas Thakur won the heart of the Lord only because he was not attached to anything else. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavita va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware bhavata bhakti rahet ki toi. So Lord Chaitanya has taught us this prayer. My dear Lord, I don't want wealth. I don't want beautiful women. I don't want followers. I don't want any of these things. So then what do you want? I just want to be your servant birth after birth after birth. That means Lord Chaitanya is saying that we should not even pray for mukti. I don't even want mukti. I'm okay with problems. But my only prayer is, let me always be devoted to you. Ananya bhajanena yara shraddha atishay devata apeksha shrestha sei mahashay. This is so beautiful. I mean, every line of this, every verse of this book, has so much wisdom in it. Our acharyas have spent so much time and energy in writing these books. It's important for us that we read it. Anyone who has great faith in pure devotional service is a saint. So what is the definition of a saint? Ananya bhajane yara shraddha atishay. Devata apeksha shrestha sei mahashay. Mahashay means a saint. Who is a saint? One who has faith in pure devotional service. Shraddha shabde vishwas kahe sridrida nishtai Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. What is the definition of Shraddha? Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, Shraddha means full conviction that if I serve Krishna, Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. I need not do anything else. Need not do anything else means, doesn't mean we don't do our responsibilities, but it means that we need not have faith in karma kand, gyan or anything else. Ashtanga. Bhakti is enough, sufficient. We don't need anything else extra. So this is called faith. And such a person who has this faith in Ananya Bhajan, such a person is a saint. In fact, here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Devata Apeksha, he is more exalted than the demigods. So why do devotees, if you can develop this kind of faith, what is the need to worship any other demigod? So a sincere devotee, a pure-hearted devotee who has faith in devotional service is superior to even the demigods. Why? Because the demigods have bhakti, but their bhakti is mishran, mixed devotional service, not ananya bhakti. Because they want devotional service, they want enjoyment. It's not pure devotional service. So a devotee is greater than even a demigod. So the level of Hanumanji, Narad Muni, these are great devotees who are greater than demigods. When Narad Muni goes to the Swargaloka, all the demigods fall at his feet. So demigods might be great, but greater than the demigods are the devotees of the Lord. In fact, it is explained that anyone who becomes a sincere devotee of the Lord and tries to chant Hare Krishna, the demigods become the servants of such devotees. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya is glorifying the path of pure devotional service. Ananya Bhajanera Shrestha. The next section is Shri Hari Dasera Namacharyata. Shri Haridas is the teacher of the holy name. So Lord Chaitanya is certifying. For anything you need a certificate now from an authority. Lord Chaitanya is certifying and stamping, saying that Haridas is the teacher of the holy name. So Haridas Thakur is the authority on the subject matter of the holy name. Such an authority that Lord Chaitanya is hearing from Haridas. Lord Chaitanya this time is not speaking. He's saying, Haridas, you speak, I will hear. Nama Tattva Sarvasar Tomara Vidita Achare Acharya Tumi Prachare Pandita. You know the truth of the holy name, the best of all truths. Nama Tattva Sarvasara Tomara Vidita. Nama Tattva. Nama Tattva is the truth of the holy name. Is Sarvasara, is the best of all truths. So what we are reading here is a very high subject matter. If you all remember in the introduction, we discussed the introduction long back. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, this is not an ordinary book. Only persons who have firm faith in Lord Chaitanya and devotional service and who take shelter of the holy name are qualified to understand this book. So this book is not an ordinary book. It's actually a Chintamani. It's a great jewel, and it doesn't come to everyone's hand. People who are very, very fortunate, some great fortune, some great blessing, only we can read this book and discuss on this book. Otherwise, it is not possible. So that's why Lord Chaitanya is saying, Nama Tattva Sarvasara Tomara Vidita. The holy name is actually the highest truth, the best of all truths. There is no other truth higher than the holy name. And then Lord Chaitanya is saying, oh Haridas Thakur, you know this. So because you know the holy name, you know everything. Achare Acharya Tumi Prachare Pandita. You are an ideal example of saintly conduct. You are an expert preacher. So Acharya Tumi Prachare Pandita. So Haridas Thakur is this mixture, perfect Acharya, perfect Acharan, ideal example of saintly conduct and an ideal preacher, Prachar. So both these things go hand in hand, isn't it? So if your Achar is good, you can do good Prachar. If your Prachar is good, you will be inspired to follow it also. So in ISKCON, in our Krishna conscious movement, both go hand in hand. Our Acharan gives us the power for Prachar, and the words that we speak should inspire us. Arey, I am speaking something, let me also follow it. Isn't it? So the Prachar should actually be for our benefit. So when you preach, if others benefit or not, at least one person should benefit, that is yourself. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya is glorifying Haridas Thakur. You are the ideal teacher and the ideal example of conduct. Bala Haridas Nama Mahima Apar Shuniya Tomare Muke Ananda Amar. So he says, Bala Haridas, oh Haridas Thakur, speak. Nama Mahima Apar, the limitless glory of the holy name. Shuniya Tomara Muke Ananda Amar. Hearing them from your mouth, I feel great bliss. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, I feel great bliss by hearing the glories of the holy name from your mouth. So Shravan, Kirtan, both go hand in hand, and both people get benefit. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya is instructing Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami on the banks of Prayag, in Varanasi. And here Lord Chaitanya is hearing. So both go hand in hand. So devotee needs both aspects. He needs to speak, he needs to do Kirtan, and there has to be some time where he does Shravan, sits and hears. And it may be from someone who is junior to you also in years in Krishna consciousness. But if he's advanced or if he's sincerely practicing, we can definitely sit and hear. Srila Prabhupada would love to hear his disciples speak. Prabhupada would encourage his disciples to speak. Prabhupada would give a class, and then Prabhupada would call one of his disciples, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Malvi Mataji, you come and you speak. And Prabhupada loved hearing from them. Prabhupada loved hearing from them. Why? Because this is a sincere devotee. He wants to hear from others. And who's Prabhupada? Prabhupada is a sannyasi who's a liberated soul, a guru, an acharya, But still Prabhupada is hearing from disciples who have just been 2-3 years in the movement. Why? Because if someone is sincere, they can give you something. We can definitely learn from everyone. From everyone we can learn something. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya is so excited to hear the glories of the holy name from Haridas Thakur. So this kind of excitement is very important, eager to hear about Krishna. Mat chitta mad gata prana bodhayanta parasparam tadayantastamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So devotees' bliss is this only. What is that? Mat chitta mad gata prana bodhayanta parasparam. Devotees' hearts are fixed with Krishna and they are happy sharing Krishna with each other. Otherwise, what is there to talk? If we don't share Krishna with each other, what we'll be discussing? We'll be discussing gossip, politics, finding faults. Rather, we should be able to share Krishna with each other. This should be healthy devotee association. Healthy devotee association means you come together and discuss Krishna Katha. What does discuss Krishna Katha mean? What you have read, So many times devotees come together and they wonder what should be the topic of discussion? What should we discuss on? The only thing we need to discuss is Krishna. What have you read? You have read Gita. Okay, you tell me what you have read. I'll tell you what I have read. You can have discussion on that. How we can improve our chanting. So when we do this, both parties get benefit. And that is the reason Srila Prabhupada made the Society of ISKCON, so that we can hear and we can speak. Sometimes hear and sometimes speak. What you have heard, you speak. So preaching is very simple. What is preaching? What you know, you speak. Because Krishna is so unlimited, there can never be a point where we will understand Krishna fully and the philosophy fully. It's impossible. So whatever little we know, without adulteration, without mix-up, we can speak that much. Then it is perfect. Someone asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada was explaining how material human beings have these four defects, na? Cheating propensity, to commit mistakes, all this. So someone asked Srila Prabhupada, are you perfect? Prabhupada said, I may not be perfect because I'm repeating what I have heard. What I have heard is perfect and what I'm repeating is perfect. Therefore, I am perfect. So the path of perfection is this: hear about Krishna and speak about Krishna. So I will stop here. Though Ramadharipura Prabhupada covered much more than this, but I personally felt I should do this again, at least for my own purification. So it may be a repeat for you all, but it's fine, Certain things, important things have to be repeated. So we'll stop at this point and then we'll continue this the next week. So I have 2-3 minutes before I get into the next session I have for Margaon devotees. Anyone has any quick questions, comments?
It was nice to hear again elaborately, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Anything else? Okay. So then let's stop for today. Sorry, it was quite short, but I think it's good enough for today. I have to get into my next section also. Thank you very much. So we'll meet next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I'm in Udupi, but I could not miss your lecture.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danda pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.